Hello and welcome to the Philippines. I am leaving the Philippines very soon, and the reason I am is because I'm required to leave. I've been here almost 3 years on my last stay here, and you can stay on a tourist visa in the Philippines for up to 3 years. You need to leave before the 3 years is up. At least you need to leave the country, and then you can come right back in, start another 3 years on a tourist visa. More permanent visas have different requirements. I think, for instance, if you buy a condo or invest $10,000 US, you can get more of a permanent visa where you just check in once a year, make sure they have your accurate information. Two very important points. Number one, you can't just get your first visa stamp and stay for 3 years. You need to renew that visa every 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months. And I'll put a disclaimer in here. This is October 2018. Rules and laws, requirements can change over time. So I suggest you check out the website of the country that you plan on staying in. I'm in the Philippines, and that's what I'm talking about today. You have to renew your tourist visa on a regular basis, and if you renew it late, you will be fined. And so you best show up a week before your visa expires on each renewal and get it renewed again. The next point is that if you stay in the Philippines for over 6 months, you have to get an exit clearance. And exit clearance interview, they call it. It's really not an interview. And it was quite painless for me. I went to the immigration office in Mandaue City, right next to Cebu City in Cebu, the Philippines. Filled out a form, and I will show you that form here a little bit later. And they basically check your background to see if there are any criminal complaints against you, see if there's any monetary complaints against you, those types of things that would require you to pay, for instance, a hospital bill before they let you out of the country, or fines or different types of things. If they find something about your time here in the Philippines, they may hold you until you take care of those issues. So very important to go through that process. It's a one-page form, very, very simple. I think it took me about an hour when I showed up for immigration. I always suggest you plan on 2 or 3 hours. Some days the immigration offices are quite a bit busier. And also check to see if it's a holiday. There are a lot of holidays in the Philippines. Some provinces have holidays that the rest of the country doesn't have, so you might show up on a Monday someplace in the immigration office and they may be closed. So check that type of information out. Also, be sure to check out the visa requirements of the country you're going to. Obviously, Vietnam. My understanding is Filipinos can just fly in there and get a visa stamp upon arriving. Americans need to either go to a embassy or consulate, Vietnamese, and get that visa stamp before they arrive. Or what I did, I went through a company and ordered a visa on arrival, it's called. And I filled out a relatively simple form, and for $13 I paid for a 30-day visa. You can pay for a 60-day visa, you can pay for a single entry, you can pay for a multiple entry, and the rates go up depending upon what you want. And they have a number of other visas too I'm not going to get into. I think Thailand, on the other hand, I've been told that you can just show up in Thailand. But I've also been told I think you have to do a border run. Somebody's going to correct me here. Is it every 60 days you got to do a border run? Go to the border, cross into another country, and then come back, just so they get your address so they can keep track of you. Anyway, the visa on arrival, I've got to print out the letter saying that I'm approved for that, and I can only show up at the 4 designated airports, which Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon is one of those, and they should have a letter with my name on it, and I should get my stamp. Shouldn't be any problem unless I have been scammed. Here we are at the Bureau of Immigration website for the Philippines, and that is immigration.gov.ph. I suggest that all of you become familiar with the immigration websites of the countries you're going to visit because requirements vary and they can change. One problem I found with many websites, many Facebooks for companies as well, is that they are not kept up to date on a regular basis. I've also found that some immigration offices have a little bit different requirements than others. For instance, I was told that immigration offices, this was like 3 years ago, that you better not be wearing sandals and or shorts or you will not be allowed in. And I usually dress reasonably good when I go to immigration or other business meeting as well, because first impressions can be important. But anyway, I've heard that I understood that the one here in Cebu City, Mandaue City, no longer required that. Many people were coming in shorts and or sandals. I think it is good to look decent anyway. I've seen one guy that was denied a renewal of his visa, and he got a little bit upset about it. They didn't tell him why, but he kind of looked like he might be homeless. Virtually, he was unkempt, old, dirty, a little bit dirty clothes. Just didn't present himself properly, and that's probably why they didn't renew his visa. Anyway, become familiar with the rules and regulations, and also you can ask local other foreigners in the area that you're in who are familiar with the office that you will be using for immigration. Many cities in the Philippines, the larger cities, have immigration offices, and you've got news down here. You've got announcements, you've got advisories, notices, and it's worth checking those every once in a while. Anyway, information about the different types of visas, immigrant visas, non-immigrant visas, and special visas. And then what I want to do is go here to forms. They have application forms. They have checklists of the requirements. So we're at application forms here. Application form for immigrant visa. You can print these out, and I advise you to print them out and fill them out in advance. Check out the requirements. You may be required to provide 3 2x2 pictures on some applications. You may be required to have a copy of your visa for some applications. Dual citizenship information. Accreditation, school representatives. Emigration Clearance Certificate application form. I use Adobe Acrobat Reader to open these types of documents, and I was using a different application, free application, but Adobe came out with a new and improved reader, so I use that now. The other app I was using had a few bugs in it occasionally. Anyway, here is the Immigration Clearance Certificate application form. It says up here, attach your 2x2 colored photograph with white background. It's important that you're not wearing glasses or a hat using permanent glue. Now, I brought glue with me actually to the immigration office because I forgot to glue it on when I was there, and the guy just stapled them to the application. I've been told that they want all this information in capital letters, so if you're used to using the smaller letters, just remember that. Last name, first given name, middle name, your address in the Philippines, date of birth, marital status, Gender, citizenship, nationality, country of birth. If you have a spouse, if you're married, widowed, or divorced, give the name of the address of the present or former spouse. Well, I've been divorced since 1985. I did not put that information in there. Applicant's travel information. All that's in. Your status of a last admission to the Philippines. I was a tourist, so I put tourist in there. Date of last admission in the Philippines, that's when I last flew in. I've taken 2 trips here. So the last time I came into the Philippines, my date of intended departure, where I'm going, name of the transportation, is it going to be airline? Am I returning? Yes, I am. Probably. The length of stay abroad, passport travel affidavit, that's your passport number. If you have blank information, he will check it over when you come into the immigration office. And so have your passport, have your ACR card with you. It cost me 500 pesos, or about $10 at immigration, to process this. And because I did not bring copies of my passport, or the main page in my passport with me, I had to go down and I had to stand in line for 30 minutes at the only copy machine that was open in that mall at that time of the morning. And I think it cost me 6 pesos to get the copies I wanted. All right, and this is the form that you will get after you completed that, and they will put your number in here, your clearance certificate number, your name, your information, nationality, and down here, according to the Philippine Immigration Act of 1940, as amended, allowing his/her departure from this country on or before, and the date they have in mind is October 18th, 2018. Well, I will be leaving before that. I don't really have to leave until February of 2019, but I've got a friend doing work for a while in Vietnam, so I'm going to run over there and take care of this a couple months early. I did not want to travel during the holidays. The rates for many things tend to go up then. You've got Chinese New Year, and I think it's February. And you've got the Christmas holidays, the New Year holidays, the Thanksgiving holidays. So anyway, I'm going to do it a couple of months early here. And they will attach one of your pictures here and be signed off, of course. And they did not put a thumbprint in here while I was there. And then down here, a question that I had asked a couple people and I didn't get an answer, but it says right down here, at the time of departure, this certificate must be surrendered to the immigration officer at the port of departure. So you should have this handy and with you when you leave the country, at the airport, if you're leaving on a ship. You should also understand that there is an exit tax when you leave the Philippines. When you go to the airport to leave, they will charge you about, I believe it's about 700 pesos now to leave the country. So be sure you have some pesos with you, or else you'll have to go to a money exchange spot and change some to get money to pay that. 700 pesos, about 14 US dollars. Many people, when they come upon this little thing where they have to leave the country, many people just make a one-day trip out of it. They fly to Hong Kong, they fly to Singapore, they fly someplace, and then they switch planes and fly right back. And I have wanted to travel more than what I have, so this is actually an opportunity for me to get out of the country and visit someplace else for a little while. So I'm going to Vietnam. I have a friend that's working over there, and north of Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City is what some people call it now. So I'll go over there for less than 2 weeks and check that area out. I'll be hopefully putting some video up while I'm over there also. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Keep these things in mind, whatever country you're going to, and don't overstay your visas. Please like the video. Please share the video. Please subscribe. Safe travels to you all wherever you're at, and we'll see you next time.